Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Playful Learning Stream with the 2-Bit Circus Foundation. My name is Kate, and I'm going to be teaching you all how to make a periscope today, which is part 2 of our kaleidoscope class that happened last week. But today we're going to bring back that idea and expand upon it and make periscopes today's. Good morning, Starks on it. I'm glad the sun came out today because I was actually expecting an overcast day today. So I'm excited that it's sunny because I can use my periscope outside. And good morning, Takora. It's good to see you. It's good to see everyone this morning. But like I said, we're going to be talking about periscopes today, which is built off of the idea of us making the kaleidoscope last week. So remember when we were talking about the fact that images are clearer to us when there is light involved, like right now during the day. It's a lot easier for us to see things than it is in the dark, and that's because our eyes need a certain level of light to see details. We don't have night vision. We can't see very clearly in the dark because our pupils don't allow enough light to come in the darkness to make those images clearer to us. So that's what we learned last week. This week, what we're going to focus on is how are we able to see images that might be taller than us. Say you're in a crowd somewhere trying to watch a parade, and unfortunately, you're in the back, like myself usually. And I'm 5'2", so I'm pretty short. And it's really hard for me to see things that are happening as they go by me, especially if I'm in the back and no one is willing to let me go forward to see better because of my height. So this periscope could be extremely helpful for instances like that because it'll give my eyes a little bit of height so that I can see over everyone. But the only problem with that is that I'll be able to see the images, but they might be very, very small in my periscope because we don't have the ability to put any magnifying lenses in there like submarines do. So submarines, the reason why in their periscopes, which is that long little extendo arm that you see poking out of the water sometimes, a good example is of the iconic image of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. You know the song? We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. Yes, that lovely song right there. The little yellow submarine that they have has a little periscope sticking out, which is that little extendo arm, and it can rotate and look different ways, kind of like it extends kind of like a trunk on an elephant, you know, because that's a lot of muscle that they have right in front of their face, so they're able to articulate it and control it. Well, elephants can't see through their trunks, but a trunk is a great example of the way that a periscope would work because it can turn any direction, full 360 degrees if it's meant to, and it sticks out of the water just a little bit so that the submarine can stay submerged under the water and stay in stealth mode or spy mode so that nobody can see it, but they're able to see anything above the water by the use of this periscope. Oh, I see Starks on it has made a lovely comment. Yellow Submarine was one of her top 10 movies as a kid. That's awesome, Starks on it. What was your favorite part of the Yellow Submarine film besides the animation, which was a brand new style for the Beatles because they had just made their, I believe Help came out before Yellow Submarine, so they made that awesome album Help, and they made a movie to go along with it, kind of like a giant music video for other songs, and then Yellow Submarine came out, which was a bunch of animation. But I digress. We are talking about periscopes today and not the Beatles. So I'm going to show you a quick video, very, very quick, only about 2 minutes long, about periscopes. So let's listen to this lovely lady here about and figure out a little bit more about periscopes and their background. Let me pause our study music and increase the volume so you can all hear her.
The periscope. A periscope is used to see objects which are not in the same level as the observer. The construction and working of a periscope is as follows. The periscope is based on the reflection of light by a plane mirror. A periscope consists of two plane mirror strips fixed at 45 degrees to the ends of a long, narrow tube. They are parallel to each other. Here you can see that each mirror turns the light rays by 90 degrees. The observer looking from below can see the image of the object in the lower mirror.
All right, that is it for this little tidbit. And yes, I agree with you, Starks, on it. I believe she has a lovely accent myself. So that was a great brief introduction to periscopes and a little bit more about them in case you didn't know what a periscope was. And that's totally okay. You're not expected to know everything, but it's always good to have an open mind to exploring new things that you have not yet had the opportunity to work on. Boopity boop. So let me see. I'm going to show you an image of a periscope while I'm explaining a little bit more background about it, because I'm just boring if I talk just with my talking head. All right, awesome. So I've pulled up an image of a periscope here for all of you. So a periscope is an instrument people use to look at things from a hidden position. Usually we say hidden because oftentimes a periscope's used in machines such as submarines, so they usually do have to stay hidden for a certain level of stealth. And the device has a long tube with parallel mirrors, so that means that they are facing each other instead of crossing each other. This is perpendicular, so perpendicular you have 90 degrees, as you see here, so you can think of it as a plus sign. Parallel is two lines right next to each other, so they don't touch each other, but they face each other. So the parallel mirrors are both at a 45-degree angle so that it can reflect the images correctly. However, modern day times, some periscopes actually opt for prisms rather than mirrors, mainly the ones in submarines that are used in there. They use prisms instead of mirrors. And the military typically uses periscopes in armored vehicles and gun turrets besides submarines. And the meaning of the word periscope, so that you can remember it really easy for all my Latin scholars out there. So peri means around. So peri means around. So we can think about that in a way of the periscope, for example. I'm going to use my arm again. It can move all the way around, a full 360. Unfortunately, my arm can't do a full 360, but my wrist can. So think of it like the head of an owl. It can turn around any way. So peri, around. And scopus, which means to look with your eyes. Scopus, so it means to look around, which is exactly what a periscope does. It looks around for you. Pardon me. So, in other words, the periscope has the ability to turn around in a circular manner to view objects usually above ground or above a water surface. Because again, most instances, they are often underground or in the water, and they're trying to see above those areas that they're buried underneath or hiding under. Besides reflecting prisms, periscopes that are specific to submarines usually have two telescopes. The submarine features heavy-duty, thick waterproof casing that makes it sturdy enough to withstand the high water pressure, because as you go deeper into water, the pressure of the water increases. For example, a blobfish. Remember, we all see those blobfish? They usually look like these big little sad squishy jello-y things. Well, blobfish actually don't look like that in the high pressures in the underwater areas where they're at, because they're at such low depths that the pressure is so high. So they actually look like rockfish, if you know what rockfish look like. So a blobfish only looks the way that it does, all sad and squishy, because it's actually went through damage from all of the pressure that it's been alleviated from when it gets dragged all the way to the surface, which is very sad. So because of that high pressure down in the water where the submarines are, they have to have those heavy duty telescopes in order to make sure that the pipes don't crack when the periscope is being extended past the submarine, past the surface level of the water, because it has to deal with all of those pressure levels all the way down. Let's see. Yes, Starks on it, you are right. In their natural environment, blobfish actually kind of do look like a handsome Squidward. They are very handsome fish. They look very sad when they're up on our surface because they're not meant to live in this pressure. So other periscope-like devices that you may know of, Johann Gutenberg actually offered a periscope to allow pilgrims to see each other and see objects above the heads at festivals in 1430. So think about that, you guys. It's 2020 today, and the first instance of somebody using a periscope to see above others in a festival was the 1430s. 1430, my friends. That is a long, long time ago. So this idea isn't new. This idea isn't any different from where it was back then. It's just the same idea, and maybe the materials have gotten better, which is what we call innovation. When you take somebody's idea and make it even better, you are innovating it. You are not stealing their idea. Yes, Starks on it, I agree with you. I need it every time I go to a concert as well. Again, as I said, I'm a very short person, so it would behoove me to have something that is about a couple feet taller than me so that I can properly see what I'm trying to look at. So, just so you can understand the difference between the periscope we're making today and the heavy-duty periscopes that they have in most machines. When you program both of the telescopes to show two different sizes of magnification at the same time, the magnification difference between the telescopes will result in overall enlargement or reduction of the images. So, in between the two parallel 45-degree mirrors or prisms that they have inside this periscope, you will have to have a magnifier in between the two in order to be able to see the image at a good size without losing it, because if you have the mirrors in there without the magnifying glass, you'll just see those images as teeny tiny. And Dave, you are right. My periscope would block your view, and then you would have to have a periscope that looks over my periscope. So maybe extendable periscopes or collapsible periscopes that can fit in your pocket is something that somebody needs to come up with. Maybe one of you. We don't have that invention yet, but one of you could create that, and that's something that I would definitely buy. I don't know about my friends out there in the chat comments, but maybe you would buy it too if you had it. So Dave, with these extendable periscopes, maybe we would have that problem solved anyways. Just a thinker. So the main purpose of developing a periscope beyond having it just for fun was really for the submarines, so that the submarines could see above the water surface because they have to sit so deep in the water. Well, not everybody else is deep in the water. What about all the boats and ships that float above the water? What if they can't see them? Well, the periscope helped out with that because it could extend itself through the depths of the water out into a little bit above the surface inconspicuously, or that means in a way that's kind of hidden, so that they could see everybody else without being seen. It's very sneaky. Oh, Starks on it, you are right. A periscope for a periscope does make the whole world blind. You're right. Maybe we need to come up with something else. And just so you know, most navies around the world use similar instruments, but employ various designs. So the periscope still exists in different ways, but there might be some innovations to them, depending on what their particular needs are. One of the later... Oh, am I fuzzy? Oh, it might be my internet connection. If I seem a little fuzzy to you, I do apologize for that. Hopefully when I move over my screen to a different look. I'll be a little less fuzzy to you all. But Marie Davy, who was a French inventor, created a periscope that consisted of 2 mirrors at both ends and held at that 45-degree angle. And they faced opposing directions. However, in 1872, prisms replaced the mirrors, according to the San Francisco Maritime Association. So Marie Davy was the first inventor to create that submarine periscope. But then in 1872, prisms replaced it, which is a great example of that innovation we were talking about. So, what's important about a periscope is that it usually has that very long tube to remain inconspicuous while operating so that other people can't see it poking out of the water. And just so you know, if you have any sailor friends or any people who have existed or spent some time in a submarine, sailors usually use a standard numbering system when referencing to the periscopes. So the periscope closest to the bow or the front of the ship, so bow, front of the ship, is the number 1 periscope, and then so on and so forth all the way down. So it starts with 1 at the front of the ship and goes 2, 3, 4, as many as they have all the way down to the end of the ship. Which is pretty cool, my friends. I think it's pretty cool. And this image of the periscope that you see right in front of you is a periscope observer station that includes an eyepiece and its controls. So you can see the eyepiece is that large black tube that's sticking out of the bottom. And then you can see the controls on the side, which is what the operator would use in order to make sure that they could see clearly, because you have to adjust for not only clarity of the image, but then maybe also the distance. Maybe you need your periscope a little higher, a little lower, so on and so forth. So, now that we've been very excited by the idea of periscopes, why don't we make one? So excited. Okay, so if you don't have the 2 half-gallon milk or juice jugs like I do right here, I have seen that you can use cardboard tubing, any sort of cardboard tubing that you can find, as well as quarter-gallon boxes or milk jugs just like this. However, keep this in mind. The smaller your container is, the smaller the mirror needs to be. So, if you've got big mirrors that you plan to use, it's better off to use these half gallons so that you can have some of the mirrors sticking out. Or you just gotta find smaller mirrors, which is perfectly fine. And as we saw with kaleidoscopes last week, there is a way to actually cut mirrors if you need to. I will not be teaching that skill today because I don't need to do that with my mirrors, but it does sound like an interesting home experiment that you might want to try. Again, anything that has to deal with sharp objects or fire, please, 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 for the sake of everybody that cares about you, ask an adult for help. Please, 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 please. Ask an adult to help you whenever you're using these things that could potentially harm you. I'm not saying to be scared of them. I'm not saying that you can't be responsible with them. I'm just saying it's good to have an extra pair of eyes, an extra set of hands just in case anything goes a little south. Okay, so I've got my 2 half-gallon milk and juice containers because I've got 1 milk container, 1 OJ container. I've got my 2 mirrors right here, which I actually was able to extract, thank you to the help of my wonderful roommate, John, from some magnetic mirror holders for a locker. So, items like that are around your house, you can always repurpose the mirrors that are inside of it, or anything else that you may have. As you can see, they're extremely thin, which is going to be very helpful when we're inserting these into our gallon jugs. Not only that, but you need masking tape, and a pencil or a pen, just in case. So, we're gonna get started. Ooh, oh my goodness. And the first instruction that it says right here is to cut the pointed ends off of both containers. Well, here we go. I'm gonna start with my dryer container, which is my milk jug. And I'm using a letter opener in conjunction with a pair of scissors, just because I find that this straight edge, like most straight edges, such as, what am I thinking of? It's a knife that looks just like this. X-Acto knife, that's right. Thank you, John. X-Acto knife. This is like a handy dandy X-Acto knife, except it's a letter opener, but it does help me make these short, quick cuts if need be. Cutting off the top, cutting off the top. Boop, boop, boop. All right, one top. Gone. We recycle everything. Keep that in mind, friends. Please recycle, recycle, recycle. All right, number 2. I hope you're all having a good Wednesday and not having to suffer through too much of this heat wave that California is going through. Today, I've actually quite enjoyed the fact that it's been a little chillier, a little overcast a little longer. It seems to be harder to burn off the marine layer in the morning. Ooh. Oh, goodness, I do not like that sound. Anybody else feel that way about squeaky sounds from foam or styrofoam? Ugh, styrofoam is the worst culprit of that squeaky noise. I cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. I'm going to dry off the inside of my OJ box just because I did wash it out. I did leave it to dry overnight, but honestly, it takes about 48 hours for these babies to dry completely on their own, which is what my milk jug had time to do, but unfortunately, we only finished our OJ yesterday. Okay, so we cut the pointed ends off of both of our containers. And on the bottom front of each box, they want us to cut a window out, leaving 1/2 inch on both sides. So I believe that is where our mirrors are going to be. On the bottom front of both boxes. Okay, so this is why I'm using my letter opener, because this is much easier for me to do over the scissors. Because as you can see, I can cut that straight line without making too much fuss. And we repeat the same iteration on the other side. And I'm definitely using these lines that are already built on here by the juice company, whoever was doing the graphic design, to help me out. Okay, once we've done that, you're gonna place one of the cartons on its side with the open window pointing to the right. So the right is that way for me, so the right. Just like so. And on the side facing upward, measure 2 3/4 inches from the top left corner and make a mark with our pen or pencil. Okay? I might have to ask for my roommate John's help real quick to grab me the measuring tape that's in our drawer. That's what it's called. It's in the other drawer, John. Please and thank you. Yes, even when it's members of your own household helping you out, your P's and Q's are always important, friends. Thank you, John. No matter what age you are, no matter how little they are helping you with, please always mind your P's and Q's. Okay, so our measurement has been set at 2 3/4 inches. So let's measure that. So there's 2. 3/4 about yay so. Oh! Oh, Dave, thank you for that. If you don't have a measuring tape, Dave says a dollar bill is just a little bit less than 2 3/4 inches high. Thanks for that, Dave. So if you don't have a measuring tape like I do, follow Dave's example and take a dollar bill and use that instead. Thank you, Dave. That's a really fun fact. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to use the ruler to draw a straight line through the mark to the top right corner. All right, so that's our mark, and that's our top right corner. Oop, gotta move up the angle a little bit, and we're gonna make a mark. Made a mark. Ha ha ha. Use a box cutter to make an opening the same size as the side of the mirror. Okay. I think that that's just us doing the same thing over again. Use a box cutter, same size as the side of the mirror, repeat steps 3 5 for the other container. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna cut this open, I believe. Okay, so we're just planning this through right now because the mirror is a little big and it's gonna need to stick out just a bit. Just a bit, my friends, just a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna we're gonna repeat the same iterations on our other milk jug. So to the right again, measure 2 3/4 inches down. I don't know about you, but lately when I've been working, I've been extremely inspired by Miyazaki music, which is playing in the background right now. That's actually how I start my mornings off lately, just because things have been kind of challenging for myself. So I watch a Miyazaki film every morning, and it kind of helps me out with the soothing music and the struggles that his characters go through that are super, that is very intriguing. I highly suggest it if you're interested. And again, we make a cut. Thanks. I think it's a wonderful way to start the day too, Starks on it. I actually find that I create a lot of joy for myself, honestly. Okay. Well, the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to insert one of the mirrors into the opening we made on one of the cartons. Look through the window in the container and adjust the mirror to line up your vision. Okay, so it looks like these holes in the front are our viewers. So we might want to cut open this hole a little bigger, because right now, the way that I have mine made, I won't be able to see anything through that. This song right now, Starks on it, I just looked up a playlist on YouTube called Miyazaki Soundtracks, but most of this music that's been playing this morning, I've mainly recognized from Kiki's Delivery Service, which is one of my favorites. My Neighbor Totoro, another favorite. And I'm hearing a little bit of Howl's Moving Castle. But if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think you could go wrong with any Miyazaki soundtrack music. It's all really, really good starts on it. Happy to share my opinions anytime with you. So I'm inserting my mirror right now at that 45-degree angle that we talked about. And I can see in here. Yep, sure can. So I'm just making sure that I can see inside when I insert my mirror. I don't know if you can, let me see if I can show you a little bit. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, I have to adjust my camera just a hair. Okay, as you can see in here, oh, nope, you can't. You can see in here that there's a reflection. Oh, you can actually see me. Hi! You can see my mouth. Wah, 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 wah. That's actually the reflection of the mirror in there. So we're gonna repeat that iteration on the other side. Oh, and again, we gotta make that peephole, the eye hole, just a little bigger, because I don't think we can see anything through this tiny, tiny cut that I made. I kind of made a little bit of a no-no right there. Whenever you're using a blade, an open blade like so, you really, 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 really don't want to put your fingers in the direction where the blade is facing. So that means don't stick your finger where the pointy end is, the sharp end is, because the potential of you losing a finger is high. Is wearing glasses going to affect it? I don't know, but I will experiment, because I do wear glasses myself for my distance vision, but not for my close-up vision. I don't need it. It actually is a detriment to me. But let me see Starks on it for you. Okay, gotta adjust my mirror in here. Good, good, good. You can see this one as well. Oh, let me see. Yep. Ah, la, la, la. You can see me. Hello. Once we finish building this Starks on it, I will check with you for glasses. Okay, so we did it. We've got two of the same iteration right here. Well, let's see what's next. Finally, insert one of the open ends of the container into the other, windows facing away from each other. Use the tape to secure the containers together and you're done. Okay, so what they're telling us right now is we've got to make sure that if this is your bottom, your top, your viewfinder is facing the outside direction, the opposite direction of where you were before. And I think if I'm crafty enough, I might be able to insert one container into the other. I said maybe. Oh, looks like that's true. Cool. So you can adjust your periscope height to how tall or short you want it to be. I actually want mine a little bit on the tall side just because I am a short lady. So I'm going to leave it right there. And we are going to tape it. Thinking about it now, Starks on it, I don't think glasses should affect it too much because you cut the eye hole opening for yourself, and you can always adjust the opening that you cut to fit your glasses a little bit better so that you can stick your face into your periscope a little bit more. So I think that should answer your question on the glasses issue. It shouldn't be, to the best of my knowledge, because I'm looking at my experiment right now, my project right now. And I'm not seeing any reason why I wouldn't be able to have the same experience while wearing glasses. Yes, this is absolutely why it's a good idea to make things yourself. Absolutely. You have 100% control over customization of these items. So you can decorate it any way you want. You can make it any way you want. It's just really cool to make your own things. But hello everybody. Welcome to my Periscope. And what I'm looking through now is that I need to adjust the view hole that I have up here because it is not big enough. I'm not getting any sort of images besides the inside of this container. So I'm gonna keep adjusting. And this is all part of the engineering process, my friends. You have to keep trying and testing and adjusting as you go because instructions are one thing, and instructions are wonderful, don't get me wrong. Follow your instructions. However, there's always adjustments that can be made. So I'm innovating right now. As I was saying before, I'm innovating off of our original idea to see if I can get more of a view of what I'm looking for. All right, let's see if we can adjust this baby just a little more. Hold on. Maybe, no, that's right. See, I'm constantly playing. Oh, here we go. All right, I've got it. I've got a little bit of it. Hold on, let me see if I can just. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting my top mirror so that I can see more images. And I just have to keep cutting this open space wider and wider because I'm finding that it's blocking my view actually. Instead of giving me the view that I want, it's blocking my view. So I need to make this opening larger so that it quits reflecting itself and instead reflects what I want it to, which is whatever is on the outside. And it looks like I'm gonna have to glue my top mirror, or maybe not. Oh, there we go, innovation, tucked it into a corner. There you go. Less tape, we love less tape. Aha, ha, ha. Much better. Okay, I can see wow, I can actually see a lot. Oh, this is fascinating. I wish I could show you all what my view is in here, but it definitely works. That is part one, is that it most certainly works, and I'm having a blast actually exploring the world around me and seeing what my apartment looks like with in this Periscope realm. It's fascinating actually. And because of the mirrors, I'm getting things right side up, which is fine, but they're a little distorted in here. My images are most definitely distorted, and that's because I do not have the ability to put a magnifier in here. I haven't studied hard enough about that, but I'm finding a lot of fun inside this. Before we go on to more of our Periscope, I wanted to bring you back to another video. And this one is a little animation that I hope you all enjoy. Let's pause our music for right now. All right.
Periscopes are used to see objects that are not on the same level as the observer. Mirrors inside the periscope bounce the light towards the observer. In order for the periscope to work, the mirrors must be facing each other and must be at a 45-degree angle. Light enters the periscope and hits the top mirror. In our experiment, the light hits the mirror at a 45-degree angle. The light then bounces off the mirror at the same 45-degree angle, basically creating a mirror image of itself. As the light moves down the periscope, it hits the second mirror, again at a 45-degree angle. The light bounces off the second mirror at the exact same angle. And this is how we are able to see images using a periscope.
Alrighty, so I hope that made a little bit more sense to our folks who might not have got it before this. This little animation is explaining exactly what we are seeing in our Periscope right now. Both mirrors are facing each other in parallel, as we talked about, because we measured 2 3/4 inches down and then connected that line to the corner of the jug. It made a 45-degree angle, which is exactly what we asked for and what the Periscope asks for so that you can see it. Remember, Periscope, when broken down, peri means around, and scopus means to look. So again, it means to look around, a periscope, to look around, which is exactly what it does. It really doesn't do much else besides that. It helps us look around. I am looking at the comments right now, and Dave, I love your comment. You said that when I held the upper window near the camera, you could see my eye slit. So it's like looking down in the Periscope in reverse. So let's see if we can do this again. I'm going to have to kneel down on the ground so that I can see properly. Hi, Dave. Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can see my eyeballs. I don't know why I had to blink or wink because I have the ability to have both of my eyes open, but I can see you guys. Hello. Did you see me? Did you see my eyeballs? Let me just adjust back up. Ooh, it's an elevator. This elevator works. Mike is asking, he wonders if the clarity is affected by the hole opening like an aperture in a camera. Big opening usually gives shallower depth of field. I know that making this opening a little larger, Mike, helped me to see more, because at first I was just reflecting the inside of the carton, which was just plain old white, which was no fun. That's not what I want to see. I want to see my surroundings around me. So, No, it's actually pretty clear right now, and I think it's because I made the hole bigger and I changed the angles a little bit, but my images are pretty clear, which is saying something. Like, they're not in great detail, but I do know that that's because of my personal distance vision, so everything's just a hair bit hazy, but I do see everything clearly. This is going to be so handy. You know what I'm thinking about? I have a sunroof in my car. Obviously, I would not do this while I'm driving. Please do not ever drive distracted. But if I'm in the passenger seat, or if I'm driving through somewhere really pretty, I'm thinking about maybe putting this Periscope, once we're stopped, because I can't have my seatbelt off or standing through my sunroof while the car is driving. Once we're stopped, I think I'm going to take this Periscope and insert it outside of my sunroof and then see the world around me, because why not? I want to. It's my birthday weekend. I can go exploring and take my Periscope with me. Ba-bum. Yeah, I can. Okay, well, let's go back to our Periscope. Now that we have it working and you have cut yourself a view that is good enough, you can always do more or less. I believe this looks, yeah, this is about 2 3/4 of the way down on this view where it's cut open if you need exact measurements. So if you just follow your line around that you drew on the side for the mirror insert, that will be the perfect amount of space that you can give to your Periscope in order to see. I thought Scopus was the kind of Tostitos that looks like a little bowl. Actually, those are called Tostitos Scoops. Just Scoops, Scoops. Don't ask me how I know that, I just do. But those are my favorite ones. Whenever I'm eating salsa, I'll just take a big scoop, and then it's essentially a soup of salsa in a tiny Tortitos bowl, and I mean, it's the best. It's personally the best for me. Oh, you can't see my eyeball like in the cartoons. Oh no, I need to have the cartoon ability to like make my eyeball go up the Periscope and like pop out on the other side. Like Yzma in what's that film called? Emperor's New Groove. She has a telescope, I believe, at some point, and the animators animated in a way where it looks like her eyeball with her scary lashes is coming out of the lens on the other side and is like blink, 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 which is scary. Yeah, she's got a scary eyeball. I digress. Let's decorate the outside of our periscopes now that we've made them. So there's a couple different options here. You can continue using your masking tape and wrapping it around. As you can see right here, masking tape is actually extremely easy to draw on and decorate on. It does take other inks and paints really well. So as you can see, there's not any smudging that is happening, but smudging will happen on these waterproof sort of areas on the juice boxes. Excuse me. So I'm gonna draw some flowers, because I like flowers. All right, remember, you've got mirrors sticking out, so it's not always gonna wanna do what you want it to do. Looks like flower eyes? Oh, that's kind of true. I didn't even notice that. You know, oftentimes I'm a perfectionist, so I often have to just start drawing instead of staring at my drawing to get creative, because there are times where I've honestly, it's felt like hours that I've just stared at a blank piece of paper and gone, what do I draw? What do I draw? What do I draw? And that, you know, for any creative, that's not helpful at all. Just like one of our wonderful co-founders of 2-Bit Circus says, Eric, he says that inspiration comes during work, not before it, which is so true. I get inspired all the time off of things that I'm doing while I'm doing them. You actually witness me a lot coming up with these innovations, inventions, inspirations, whatever they may be. You find that I discover it with you, and it's not canned, and that can happen at any age. I'm of a certain age, and much older than most of our viewers, I would expect. But even at my age, I'm still learning things daily, and it's foolhardy for me to believe that I know everything, because I do not. And there's always things that we're learning. Like, for example, when I was growing up and going through school, Pluto was a planet that we recognized. But in recent studies, because NASA's machinery studies, all of the above, have gotten more in depth, they have been able to explained to all of us that there is a difference between smaller planets, which are planet-like, and then actual small planets themselves. So Pluto has been demoted to kind of like a step down from a planet. So it's not part of our solar system anymore, as in the other planets that are considered part of it. However, that could still change because it's called the art of science, right? The art of medicine, the things like that. So there's still a little wiggle room, not that to say that there aren't facts there, but it's always constantly changing, unlike math. Math is pretty stagnant. It's pretty black and white. There's really no wiggle room unless you're talking about statistics, for example, because those always wiggle. The flowers have eyes. Green orcas. Well, that reminds me of one of my favorite horror films, which is called Silence of the Lambs, which has nothing to do with eyes. But there's a lot of like deep eye shots in there. There's a lot of eye acting, I guess we could say. So for the rest of the bottle, Tostito Scoop. That's what I was talking about earlier. Green orcas, the Tostito Scoop. That's what that particular chip is called that Starks on It mentioned. I'm going to wrap the rest in, no, I was going to say fabric, and fabric is a good idea, don't get me wrong. It would just take a while. Anything is going to take a while though, Kate. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the leftover sparkle material that we had left last week from our kaleidoscope and use it to decorate my periscope. Now I gotta just find the end of this. Oop. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So don't be discouraged if you don't have these half-gallon jugs at your house. Like I said before, people have made periscopes out of cardboard tubes, out of toilet paper tubes, paper towel rolls, anything that you can find around your house. As long as a mirror can be inserted in it and it can hold its own weight, which means that when you hold it up, it's not going to flop over, then I think you're going to be fine. It just needs a vessel to hold the mirrors at that particular angle so that it becomes we talked about it last week, it becomes the philosophical toy, woo, that it was meant to be. Honestly, I wish that my cats could understand the idea of a periscope, because I feel like their view of the world is very skewed just because they're so close to the ground. So I'm wondering if they would find use in like cat periscopes, you know, so that your cat can see a little higher, but that might be superfluous since cats can climb trees and cats can climb very high and they're not afraid of heights. So a cat periscope might be a little bit silly. But a human periscope, however, that's needed. I would like to bring this periscope with me to theme parks for those parades and shows, but it's not collapsible and it's a little chunky, so it's not exactly the greatest for traveling with. So any of my friends out there who can innovate a way to make this collapsible or travel friendly, hit me up. Let me know, because I want to know. I want to know because I'm a short person. I like to see things clearly. I often don't have the opportunity to. Not complaining. I do like my short height. I will tell you what, it has definitely saved me from some having to duck my head in small places. It has helped me with getting to small areas, which, you know, often that is a skill that I have flexed more often than I thought I would. whether that be to try to get something that accidentally fell down somewhere, or escape rooms. Escape rooms where you have to be really, really almost in a claustrophobic space, and you've got to dig or wiggle yourself through things. I found my short height definitely helps me out there. 100%. So, as with everything and anything, there are pros and cons to everything. Yes, you can also use a periscope to look around a corner, no matter how tall you are. Thank you for reminding me, Dave. Yeah, so this could be your extra secret spy if you're a prankster, kind of like myself. Oops. You might want to use your periscope to look around corners to see who might be coming around so that you can surprise them. Pranks are always good if they're not hurting anyone. That means yourself included, yourself and the person that you're trying to prank. We like harmless pranks. Pranks that are funny. Yep, or upside down. That's true, Dave. Let me check out upside down right now. Sure works. I can see everything under my table. So yes, definitely can look upside down. Let's see, can I see around a corner? I sure can. I can see everything. I see everything. Excuse my sloppy decorating job. Actually, it looks pretty nice in the camera view. Ooh, look at my periscope. She's so pretty. I like her. She's a twin to her kaleidoscope friend. Okay, but it looks like my time with you all might be coming to an end, which is making me really sad. But let's explain very briefly what we went over today. We went over part 2 of our kaleidoscope periscope class, which is based off of sight and understanding how we see things. The periscope here was created to help us see at just different heights, whether that be shorter or taller than we are or around a corner. It's just helping us see things better because we don't have extendable necks, for example. We can't just raise and lower our eyesight to whatever height we want it to be. Yep, for short people, for looking what's in the fridge. Yep, that is very true. I will be using it for that. Stark's on it. And then let's talk about some of the science principles that we talked today when it came to periscopes. So, as we learned, peri means around and scopus means to look. So, periscope means to look around, and light, if it's available, will always reflect away from a mirror at the same angle that it hits the mirror. So when we put our periscopes in there, light hits the top of the mirror at the 45-degree angle and reflects it away at that same 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle, which bounces it to the bottom mirror. And then that light hits the second mirror at that 45-degree angle that it's at and reflects that same angle into your eye. That was very, very, very complicated. So all you need to know is that the light hits the mirror. The mirror is at the same angle that the light receives into your eyes. So a 45-degree angle is what is used all the way down. A periscope was an optical instrument used in land and sea warfare often, or submarine navigation, and elsewhere, as in houses, or as we saw in the religious festival in the 1470s. They're just used to observe your surroundings around you while you remain undercover, behind armor, or submerged. So you're able to see things while keeping your own status unknown to the rest of the world. Woo, woo, woo. A periscope will always have those 2 mirrors or those reflecting prisms inside of it at those 45 degrees angles in order for you to see properly. And then in modern instances of a periscope, such as the ones that exist in submarines, they use magnifying glasses in between those 2 reflectors because it makes that image available in higher detail, so they can control that as fine of a detail as much as they want to sharpen the image or make it fuzzy, as well as being able to adjust height down below. And as we discussed before, because of water pressure, those telescopes have to be extremely, extremely well made to withstand all the pressure from the depths of the ocean all the way up to the surface and be able to carry that pressure well and sustain it without breaking down. The simplest type of periscope consists of the tube, And then the 2 mirrors at the 45-degree angle, which is what we created today with our lovely Periscope. This is the simplest form that the Periscope exists in. Yes, my friends, we have made it here today for you live. And it's because I used an orange juice can, but it smells pretty good too. I get a little whiff of citrus every single time I look through my viewfinder, which is super, super fun. And just so you know, because I didn't share it with you before, periscopes were widely used in World War II in tanks and other armored vehicles as observation devices. When fitted with a small auxiliary gun sight telescope, the tank periscope could also be used in pointing and firing guns. By employing the tubes of rectangular cross-section, wide horizontals of views can be obtained. So what that means is that the wider we make our view up at the top here, remember how I cut a hole that was bigger than where my eyesight hole is down here? The bigger that is, the more we can bring into our realm of sight. Because remember, your sight isn't just what you see in front of you, but also what you see in your peripherals, which encompasses everything to about here on your face. If you bring up your hands and you keep moving them while staring forward, keep your eyes forward, you should be about here before you start seeing your hands disappear. And actually, if you didn't know, our sight in our peripheries is actually stronger to motion than things right in front of us. So that's why your eyes, whenever you catch something in the corner of your eye, that's why sometimes you take a double take. It's because you notice that in your peripheries faster than in your focused vision. And that's why when you go to the optometrist every year, they do check your peripheries to make sure that they're strong, because it is something that we need in order to survive. It tells us a lot, especially when we're driving, if you have the ability to drive already. It's not only the focus of the cars in front of you, but things that are passing to your sides, because sometimes other people merging into your lane might not be as aware as you are. So these are real life examples of the reasons why periscopes exist, why they keep getting innovated, and why people still use them to this day. A lot of these, what we consider older inventions, are extremely popular today and used in many, many, many different iterations, from a telescope that can be in your pocket, that's collapsible, that you can extend whenever you need to see a far distance, to the telescopes that NASA uses in order to view galaxies and stars and planets that are very, very far away. That's like a huge mechanized version of it. So I hope you all had a wonderful time with me today, because I definitely had a wonderful time with you all. Thank you to 2-Bit Circus Foundation for having us live Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I believe. Thank you for tuning in 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you like anything that I did today, we do have kits ready for you to order at www.2bitcircus.org. Again, that's www.2bitcircus.org. There you will not only find our project playbooks that include the project that we did today, but you will also find our kits that you can order for your home as well as your school. We do have STEAM kits and NASA carts that are providable for larger class spaces where you need to encompass a lot of different folks. Last but not least, we want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in, and for our regular sponsors for having us here with all of you and having the ability to share with you our time here today. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. I will see you next Wednesday, where we will be talking about gelatin refraction. So get ready to make some Jell-O, but not the kind that you should eat. We'll make Jell-O that you can eat, and we'll make Jell-O that day that you shouldn't eat. That's for our experiment. Tomorrow we have the always amazing Kane coming hot and ready to you live from our warehouse. I can't wait to see what cardboard creations he makes next. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and if you need anything from us, please visit us at the 2bitcircus.org website. Again, my name is Kate. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and goodbye!